Hey friends, are you ready for a story that'll give you chills? Today I'm sharing a creepy mystery that started in an ordinary town but turned into a nightmare. What's lurking inside a little boy's body? Can a brave mother unravel the terrifying secret? Dive into this mystical drama filled with horror and secrets and watch till the end to find out how this incredible story unfolds. Emma Thompson was a single mom who poured her heart into keeping life steady for her 6-year-old son Alex in the small town of Eldridge. At 34, with long auburn hair she often tied back in a loose bun and warm hazel eyes that carried a hint of constant worry, Emma worked hard to make ends meet. Her days were spent at Pages and Whispers, the local bookstore where shelves overflowed with novels, children's picture books, and the faint scent of old paper. She loved helping customers find the perfect read, her soft voice recommending mysteries or adventure tales while she straightened displays or dusted the wooden counter. It wasn't glamorous work, but it paid the bills. Barely. Her ex-husband's child support checks were unreliable, often late or missing, leaving Emma to stretch every penny for groceries, rent, and Alex's school supplies. Despite the strain, she found joy in the little moments, like watching Alex play in their backyard or hearing his giggles fill their cozy home. Their house on Maple Lane was a modest 2-story cottage, painted buttery yellow with a sagging front porch where geraniums bloomed in pots. The backyard was Alex's playground, with a rusty swing set that creaked under his weight, a patch of grass where he kicked a soccer ball, and a small garden where Emma grew tomatoes and herbs. Alex was her world, a lively boy with messy blonde hair, bright blue eyes that sparkled with mischief, and freckles dotting his cheeks like stars. Evenings were their special time. They'd bake cookies in the kitchen, flour dusting the wooden table, or curl up in Alex's room with its star-patterned wallpaper and pile of stuffed animals, reading stories about pirates or dragons. Those moments made the long hours and tight budget worth it, though Emma couldn't shake the quiet fear that something could upend their fragile routine. One sunny Saturday morning in early fall, with golden light streaming through the kitchen's lace curtains, Emma was sipping coffee and flipping through a recipe book, planning a weekend treat. The air smelled of toasted bread and fresh coffee, and she hummed softly, thinking about taking Alex to the park later. The peace was broken when Alex shuffled in, his dinosaur pajamas wrinkled, his face pale, and his small hand pressed to his lower stomach. "Mommy, it hurts down there," he said, his voice small and shaky. The words stopped Emma cold, her coffee mug frozen halfway to her mouth. She set it down quickly, heart thudding. Alex was rarely sick, a cold here and there, but nothing serious. This sounded different, urgent. "Come here, buddy," she said, kneeling to his level, keeping her voice calm despite the sudden knot in her stomach. "Can you show me where it hurts?" Alex, trusting as always, tugged down his pajama pants. Emma's breath hitched. The skin was red, swollen, and looked painfully irritated, not like any rash or scrape she'd seen before. A chill ran through her. Just last night, during his bath in their steamy bathroom with blue tiles, everything had looked fine as he splashed in the tub. What had changed in just a few hours? "Okay, sweetie," she said, forcing a smile to hide her panic. "Let's get you dressed. We're going to the doctor to check this out." Alex nodded, his blue eyes wide with unease as she helped him into his favorite red t-shirt and jeans. Her mind raced as they grabbed their coats. Could it be an infection? Something he'd touched? She pushed away darker thoughts, focusing on getting answers. They drove to the Eldridge Family Health Center, a familiar brick building with a cheerful sign and a parking lot filled with family cars. The 15-minute drive felt endless, Emma's hands tight on the steering wheel. Inside, the waiting room buzzed with the hum of conversation and the sharp scent of antiseptic. After a short wait, they were ushered into an exam room. Dr. Elena Voss greeted them, a middle-aged woman with sharp green eyes, short curly brown hair, and a white coat that looked crisp despite the long hours. Her calm demeanor usually put Emma at ease, but not today. "Hi, Emma." "Hey, Alex," Dr. Voss said warmly. "What's going on?" Emma explained Alex's complaint, her voice steady but her hands fidgeting. Dr. Voss examined Alex on the padded table, her gloved hands gentle as she asked him questions. "Does it hurt when I press here?" she asked. "Yeah," Alex mumbled, wincing. "When I walk, it's worse." Dr. Voss finished, her face unreadable as she asked Alex to wait in the play area with a nurse. She led Emma to a small office with white walls, a cluttered desk, and posters about vaccinations. "Is it bad?" Emma asked, her voice barely above a whisper, her heart pounding. Dr. Voss sat across from her, her green eyes serious. "It's unusual, Emma. This kind of swelling in a child his age isn't something I've seen often. It could be an infection or something else. We need to rule out serious conditions." Emma's stomach dropped. "Serious? Like cancer?" The word felt like a stone in her mouth. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," Dr. Voss said, her tone measured. "I've already called a specialist. We need an ultrasound to understand what's going on." Tears stung Emma's eyes. "He's only 6, doctor. Please tell me he'll be okay." "I can't say for certain yet," Dr. Voss replied, her voice softening. "But if it's a growth, these are often treatable in children. Let's get the scans first." She paused, checking her notes. "No recent injuries or strange symptoms before this?" "Nothing," Emma said, shaking her head. "He was fine last night." "Okay," Dr. Voss nodded. "I'm sending you to Riverside Medical Center for the ultrasound. It's a bigger facility, better equipment. In the meantime, try an ice pack every couple of hours if the swelling gets worse." She handed Emma a referral slip with the center's address, a modern hospital 20 minutes away with white hallways and bright lights. Emma clutched it tightly, her mind a storm of fear as she collected Alex and headed home. That night, sleep was impossible. Emma checked on Alex every hour, watching him sleep under his starry blanket, his blonde curls soft against the pillow. She packed a bag for the next day, his favorite stuffed bear, a book, snacks, trying to focus on practicalities. Morning came, and they drove to Riverside, Emma distracting Alex with stories about superheroes to keep his spirits up. At the center, they met Dr. Marcus Hale, a tall man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair, wire-rimmed glasses, and a kind but serious face. His lab coat was dotted with medical pins, a sign of his experience. "Hello," he said, smiling at Emma, then crouching to Alex. "Hey there. What's your name, champ?" "Alex," the boy replied shyly, twisting his fingers, his blue eyes scanning the busy waiting area. "Well, Alex, we're going on a little adventure today," Dr. Hale said. "We'll take some pictures of your tummy." No big deal, Emma appreciated his warmth, but felt her anxiety spike. She just wanted answers, wanted Alex back to his happy self. They were led to a cool, dimly lit exam room with humming machines. Alex changed into a gown, looking small on the table. Emma waited in the lounge, staring at a magazine without seeing the words. Her thoughts on Alex, his laughter, his hugs, his "I love you, Mommy," every night. After about an hour, Dr. Hale emerged from the ultrasound room, his face heavy with concern, a folder tucked under his arm. The lounge was quiet now, save for the soft hum of a TV in the corner and the rustle of pages from other waiting parents. Emma stood, her hands twisting nervously. "Emma, can you come with me?" Dr. Hale said, his voice low and steady, but carrying an edge that made her stomach churn. She followed him through a maze of corridors lined with medical posters, the fluorescent lights casting stark shadows. They entered a viewing room filled with glowing monitors and stacks of charts, the air cool and sterile. A large screen loomed on one wall, its blank surface waiting to reveal answers Emma wasn't sure she wanted. Sit here, please, Dr. Hale said, pointing to a chair beside a cluttered desk. He sat opposite, pulling up the ultrasound images with a few clicks. The black and white scans flickered onto the screen, stark and clinical. Emma leaned in, her eyes darting over the images. Her breath caught, and she pressed a hand to her mouth. "Oh, God," she whispered, her voice trembling. The scans showed abnormal masses, huge, irregular shapes glowing bright white, completely enveloping the normal tissue. They looked unnatural, almost alien, nothing like what should be in a 6-year-old's body. Dr. Hale adjusted his glasses, his finger tracing the screen. "These growths have fully encapsulated the tissue. I've never seen anything like this in my career. We need to schedule surgery immediately to remove them." Emma's vision blurred with tears, the room tilting slightly. She slumped in the chair, her hands shaking. A nurse who'd slipped in quietly placed a hand on her shoulder, but the gesture felt hollow, unable to pierce her growing dread. "Please, save my son," Emma pleaded, her voice breaking. "He's all I have." What if he doesn't make it?" Dr. Hale's face softened, his eyes kind behind his glasses. "We're going to do everything we can, Emma. He's young and strong, which is in his favor, but we need to act quickly to avoid complications. Because of recent hospital restrictions due to a viral outbreak, the surgery was set for the next morning, a small mercy as slots were scarce. Emma drove home in a fog, the winding roads of Eldridge lined with autumn trees blurring past her tear-filled eyes. Alex, sensing her mood, tried to lighten it. "Mommy, can we get chocolate ice cream when this is done?" he asked from his booster seat, his voice bright with hope. Emma glanced at his reflection in the rearview mirror, his freckled face flushed from the day's stress. "You bet, buddy," she said, forcing a smile. "A whole bucket if you want." But as they neared home, Alex's tone shifted. "Mommy?" he said softly, staring out the window. "Yes, sweetie," Emma replied, her hands tightening on the wheel. "When people go away forever, do they go to a nice place? Like Nana's stories about heaven with clouds and singing?" The question hit like a physical blow. Emma's heart raced. Had he heard something at the hospital? Was it just a child's curiosity, or did he sense the danger? "I don't know, honey," she said, a tear slipping down her cheek. "But you're not going anywhere. We're fixing this, okay?" That night, Emma barely slept, her mind replaying the scan's eerie glow. She packed a hospital bag, Alex's stuffed bear, a superhero book, some snacks, and checked on him constantly, watching his peaceful sleep under the starry wallpaper. Morning came too fast, the sky gray as they returned to Riverside, the hospital now looming like a fortress of uncertainty. In the pre-op room, Alex clung to her, his small hands gripping her sweater. "I'm scared, Mommy," he whispered as the nurses prepared the anesthesia. "Don't leave me." The anesthesiologist, a woman with a gentle smile and braided hair, knelt beside him. "It's like taking a nap, Alex. You'll close your eyes, and when you wake up, Mommy will be right there." But Alex's tears fell. "Stay with me, please," he begged, looking at Emma. "I'll be there the whole time," Emma promised, her voice cracking. She'd be in the operating room, in protective gear, watching from the sidelines. They wheeled him into the surgical suite, a stark room with bright lights, beeping monitors, and gleaming steel instruments. The smell of disinfectant hung heavy in the air. The surgical team moved with precision, their scrubs rustling as they prepared. Emma stood in the corner, dressed in a blue gown, gloves, mask, and goggles, her eyes fixed on the floor to steady her nerves. Her mind churned with fears. Would Alex be bullied for being different? Would he feel alone growing up? Could he ever find love, a family? These thoughts spun like stars in a distant galaxy. The team warned her not to watch if it was too much. But when the surgeon's scalpel cut, a strange sound filled the room, a wet, writhing squelch, like something alive stirring inside. Emma glanced up, straining to see past the clustered staff. "Good Lord," a nurse muttered, her voice tight. "What is this?" The surgeon gasped, stepping back. Wet plops echoed as something hit the floor. The team parted in shock. A nurse screamed, dropping a tray that clattered loudly, and ran out, the doors swinging wildly. Emma's eyes locked on the floor. Small, legless forms wriggled there, slimy and pale like worms from a nightmare. As the staff cleared, the full horror emerged. From the incision spilled a grotesque ooze, a nest of parasitic creatures slithering over the table, dripping to the floor, crawling over shoes and tools. They pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly life. Emma's knees buckled. "What are those things?" she choked out. But darkness swallowed her, her head hitting the tile with a thud. She woke in the waiting area, the setting sun glaring through windows, disorienting her. Her head ached, and she squinted against the light. A plump nurse in tight teal scrubs approached, her ponytail bouncing, holding a cup of water. "Ma'am, you okay?" the nurse asked. "You fainted in there." "My son, those things, is he all right?" Emma stammered, sitting up, water splashing over the cup's rim. "He's stable," the nurse said, steadying her. "The surgery's done. There were complications, but he's in recovery. You'll see him soon." Later, in a small conference room, the surgeon explained, his face drawn. "We removed the masses, but what we found, parasitic organisms, unlike any known species. Tests show no remnants inside, but we're starting him on albendazole, a strong anti-parasitic. We're not sure how this happened." Emma nodded, numb. "Where did they come from?" "We're running tests," he said. "Could be environmental, water, soil. We'll keep you updated soon." Men in dark suits arrived, their questions sharp and their notepads busy, adding to the surreal dread. The 2 months after Alex's surgery were a whirlwind of recovery and fragile hope. He spent 6 weeks in Riverside's pediatric rehab wing, a bright space with walls painted in cheerful animals and rooms filled with toys and games. Therapists worked with him daily, helping him regain strength. But Alex missed home. During video calls, his blue eyes glistened with tears. "I want to go back to my swing set, Mommy," he'd say, his voice cracking over the screen. Emma visited every day after her bookstore shifts, bringing cookies or muffins from their kitchen and reading to him in the rehab center's cozy library corner, surrounded by colorful bookshelves. At work, customers noticed her distraction, offering kind words that barely registered. Medical bills piled up, and with her ex's support nearly non-existent, Emma dipped into her meager savings, the stress gnawing at her. Anxiety medication became her lifeline, prescribed after sleepless nights spent pacing their quiet cottage. She'd slip into Alex's empty room, touching his stuffed animals, the star-patterned wallpaper a reminder of happier nights. When Alex finally came home, he burst through the door, his energy returning, though he tired quickly. "Look, Mommy, I'm fast again," he shouted, racing around the living room, past the cushions and family photos on the wooden shelves. Emma smiled, but her relief was shadowed by unease. Rumors swirled in Eldridge. Other kids falling ill, whispers of something wrong with the town's old reservoir water. The doctor's vague answers about the parasites left her uneasy. They didn't know enough. One night, over coffee with a neighbor, Emma shared her fears. "You should see Madame Clara," the neighbor said. "She's a healer, lives out by the oaks." People say she knows things, sees beyond what doctors can. Desperate for answers, Emma drove to Madame Clara's cottage on a foggy evening. The thatch roof house sat among ancient oaks, wildflowers lining the path, its glowing windows casting a warm, eerie light. The air smelled of damp earth and herbs, a sense of mystery hanging thick. Inside, the cottage was warm, with wooden beams, shelves of herb jars, and crystals glinting in the candlelight. Incense, lavender and sage swirled in the air. Madame Clara sat at a wooden table draped in knitted lace, surrounded by flickering candles, dried herb bundles, and old leather-bound books with cracked spines. She was a slender woman of 60, her European features framed by warm gray eyes that seemed to see through you, radiating a mystical aura. Her dark brown hair, streaked with silver, was pinned in a neat bun. A white linen blouse flowed softly over her frame, her expression wise and compassionate, with a faint candle-like glow in her gaze. She held a bundle of dried lavender and sage, her fingers adorned with simple silver rings etched with symbols. "Welcome, dear," Madame Clara said, her voice soothing, tinged with a faint accent. "I felt your coming. Sit." I sensed deep pain, for you and your child Emma sat, the chair creaking, and poured out the story. Alex's pain, the surgery, the horrifying parasites, her lingering dread. "The doctors say he's fine, but I don't believe it," she said, tears falling. "What if it's not over?" Madame Clara listened, her eyes steady. She closed them briefly, as if listening to an unseen voice. "The spirits speak," she said. "A curse draws these parasites from shadowed realms, perhaps from tainted waters in your town. They seek the young, spreading if not stopped. But we can act." Emma's breath hitched. "Can you help him? See what's coming?" "Yes," Madame Clara nodded. "Through ritual, I connect with the unseen." She lit more candles, their flames dancing, and chanted softly in an ancient tongue, the air growing heavy with energy. "Hold this," she said, handing Emma the herb bundle. "It anchors you." Her eyes fluttered, visions coming. "I see the parasites reaching his eyes, dimming his light if unchecked. But with this, he'll heal." She gave Emma a pouch of herbs. "Brew this tea daily. It cleanses his body and spirit. Use this crystal to purify water. The reservoir carries old magic, corrupted long ago. Share this quietly to protect others." Emma clutched the pouch, hope flickering. "How can I thank you?" "Live and heal," Madame Clara smiled. "The spirits guide those who ask." Following her instructions, Alex grew stronger, the tea a daily ritual. No signs of the parasites returned, and Emma noticed the town taking action. Water tests ordered after anonymous tips. But now in a cozy Eldridge clinic with potted ferns and soft lights, Emma sat, heart pounding. Yesterday, as she sipped coffee in their sunny kitchen, lace curtains glowing, Alex had stepped out, rubbing his eyes. "Mommy, my eyes sting," he said, his voice small. The words echoed the nightmare's start, chilling her. Was the curse back? Clutching the herb pouch, Emma prayed Madame Clara's magic would hold. Friends, thanks for watching. If this mystical story hooked you, like and subscribe to True Stories of Fate. Stay tuned for a new captivating tale. Share your own mystical stories in the comments. We can't wait to read them.